What is up, guys and girls? Hurricane Liz here. In this video, I talk about what I've found out about all this mass banning suspension wave that we've seen on Amazon. It's getting ugly out there, and I'm going to break down to you what I've found out in the past month, as well as tell you a little bit more about what to expect in the future. And if you haven't already gotten your money, what to expect in terms of time frame. So I'm super fired up to share this information with you. I hope you're fired up. Let's do this. All right, so here we are. We spoke about this before, but now based off of the questions that I've gotten from you guys, based off the feedback that I've gotten, I'm going to elaborate on this as per all the questions that I got. Now, keep in mind, I'm not even going to edit this. I'm just going straight into this. It's going to be as raw as it really is, and it's going to explain to you what I've learned since the last time that I did make the video, which is about a week ago. Now, I just wanted to clarify things about what is typically happening within Amazon once a year. Now, this is happening once a year for the past many years. And the reason for this is Amazon almost cleans house. Once a year, they do this and they start to send out massive bans, massive suspensions yearly. And it almost always happens in September. And so this is the information that I do have, that I've been able to collect and gather together based off of what I've seen for years and years. And I do predict that this will continue to happen for years to come. So it's real important to kind of know this information. If you don't get caught in between now and next September, you can almost always expect to get suspended, and or just now what we've seen are terminations by Amazon at some point during the year, which is typically September, late September, early October. Now we're headed into November. There's still people getting suspended here and there, but let's talk more or less about what we've seen, what I've learned come to see this recent wave of banning. So the way that we want to look at being suspended on Amazon in general goes like a DEFCON level. Like if we're about to go to nuclear world war, the way that we want to look at Amazon is the same way. If there's a red button that the president's got to smash down, that will usually happen on this spectrum or this scale, one being the least possible thing happening, where, you know, he's raising some hell in some way, shape, or form. And level one is, it's the weakest of the weak crap. Like maybe you keep putting down or you do something wrong. Who knows what it is, but it just doesn't even matter. If in most cases, when you get a level one suspension, what'll happen is they'll make you reply to a canned email response that goes through your Seller Central help, and it will just have you answer some questions. You hit submit, and it will end up just reinstating the account almost immediately. That's usually what the level one is. Level three here, I got all other shit classified under here. This could be just a number of things. Like maybe you got unsuspended at level one. Maybe you had a product suspension, which was possibly like a kid choked on a goddamn plastic toy. Let's just say that happened. That'll be level one. Somebody complains the first time. There's a possibility that a kid choked on it. Amazon will slap you on the wrist. They'll have you submit your answers via this canned seller response. You get reinstated. But now it happens again. So now a couple kids have choked on your shit. Right? A couple kids have choked, and that sounds terrible, I know, but a couple kids have choked on it. Now what they're going to require is additional information in the form of what's called a plan of action, a plan of appeal. It's been called many things, but all in all, Amazon's going to want to see something written up by you and or someone that you hire, which incidentally, if you want to get your account back and you're having trouble with it, I do have one of the foremost experts on this. If you need help with any of that, my email is below. So reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions and give you the odds of us being able to either get your account back or get it reinstated. So that's level three. A kid or three kids have choked on everything that possibly happened before. Amazon's going to require you to submit this plan of appeal or plan of action. You send it in with the reasons as to what you did, how you changed things. Remember, it's how you changed things already, and you just apologize. So pretty much you've got to admit to having done something wrong. This is the equivalent of your wife catching you cheating. You got to admit to her that you did something, or else you're never going to hear the end of it. You just got to admit to it, take the punishment, and move forward. In most cases, if you have what they're looking for, you'll get reinstated. Everything's all good. So then it goes to, this one's pretty easy to come back from. You can pretty much essentially do this yourself if you're really savvy enough and you understand the game. You can get reinstated yourself here. Then we go to a level 5, which is a rank manipulation, which basically means that you were knowingly either active in manipulating the algorithm to help your rankings and improve your rankings for any given product, or you hired a third-party service to help you with this. They'll go ahead and reinstate you. However, you are going to have to submit a plan of appeal. And in a lot of cases, they're going to ask you to throw someone under the bus. So what does this mean? Well, it means you could very well throw an employee under the bus and say, hey, we hired this dude named Sean, and Sean did things unbeknownst to us. He was doing all this crazy shit. And eventually what we ended up having to do is fire Sean's ass, throw him out, other organization, and fix the mess that Sean created. You put the blame on Sean. Sean gets thrown under the bus. Amazon's happy. They reinstate you. Everything's good. Or in some cases, it can be a third-party company. So let's say you hired someone like a company that was doing ranking for you, and you're going to have to throw that company under the bus. You're going to have to give Amazon their website, their phone number, possibly even your point of contact to get the account reinstated. Either way, Amazon is going to need to have somebody thrown under the bus. And since you can't throw yourself under the bus for having come up with this harebrained scheme to begin with, it's going to have to be a third party, whether it be Sean and or a third party company. Again, this one's fairly easy to come back from. It's not anything big other than you just have to come to the understanding that somebody is going to have to get thrown under the bus. Which brings us into the more complex ones and the ones that you more than likely will need professional help with, and I'll explain why here in a second. Most people misunderstand this and they think, I get a ton of emails and they think, oh, I see the price of your plan of appeal for my Section 3 suspension. That's a little too much for me, but here's what they don't understand. What they don't understand is ultimately a Section 3, which is on the level 6, right here, there should be a line drawn. I don't know how to do it in this program on Canva, but there should be a line drawing, meaning anything to the left of this line, which means level 5 on down, you can come back from easily. It'll take 1 or 2 plan of appeals maximum to come back from, but you'll be back. Amazon will give you another chance. Anything to the right of this line, you're fucked. That's as simple as I'm going to put it. And here's why. A Section 3 is a severe type of suspension, whereas 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, possibly even 6 appeals aren't going to cut it. Amazon is going to need multiple appeals, and in most cases, they are going to hold your money until they believe that your appeal is good enough, which could take as much as a year. We've seen some that are headed over to the 1.5 year mark, and they finally get unsuspended, they finally release funds, and they're basically doing something borderline criminal. They're holding your damn money. So understand that if they're holding your money, you more than likely need professional help, and it's going to take more than an attorney to help be able to get that account back, because you're going to need to submit multiple plan of actions, plan of appeals, whatever you want to call them, in order to try and not only reinstate the account, but also to get your money back. So this is very, very important. I want you to understand that when it's beyond to the right of this imaginary line that we have here, it's a severe suspension. And as I said before, Amazon is acting borderline criminal. They are a monopoly in these cases, and they will keep your money. I've seen money as high as in the millions and millions of dollars being held. So your $10,000 that you're upset about and that you can't pay your credit card as a result of them holding this $10,000 are insignificant compared to other people that have millions of dollars caught up. So I want you to really understand that they don't give a shit that you've only got $7,000 stuck in the account. I know that $7,000 means a lot to you, but be prepared to go to war with Amazon for many, many, many months, and possibly having them hold that for as much as upwards of 2 years. And so this goes hand in hand with this level 8 takedown that we've heard about, which is involved, so far I've seen that it's had to deal with either feedback manipulation, or if you've got a Section 3 lockout or a Section 3, we'll define the difference here in a second. This level 8 pretty much means that you piss them to a whole new level. I've only seen a handful of people get this, and that usually is relying upon those people will try and take other forms of action in order to get their money back, and they'll bring negative attention onto Amazon. That negative attention could be the form of going to the Better Business Bureau, taking it to Twitter to try and slam Amazon, taking it to the seller forum, or trying to voice and express what's going on with their particular account to see if anyone else is in the same boat. When that happens, this is when I've typically seen the level 8. And again, I cannot 100% confirm it's around all those things. However, it just does seem that the people that I've talked to that do have the level 8 suspensions, level 8 takedowns, all did that particular thing, which is try and gain attention and gather attention to themselves so as to hope to bring some sort of negative PR on Amazon. That way Amazon would release their funds, because usually these guys are the ones that have a shit ton of money stuck in Amazon. So that's how level 8 happens. The other type is a Section 3 lockout, which is pretty much the same thing as being banned. And the Section 3 lockout means it's the same thing as this imaginary line to the right, this level 8, the Section 3 right here. What it is, and I made up these levels. These levels just go from increasing level of severity of the suspension. So they're imaginary based off of what I've seen. However, this level 8 takedown is a real thing. It's called level 8 takedown. Amazon has it in their notes, and that's kind of how I assume that the rest of these also operate on a level basis. But the level 8 is the most severe in that you still have access to the account. However, you've probably brought on some negative PR to Amazon. But with the Section 3 lockout, it's pretty much considered the same thing as a straight up ban. And the reason I say that is because you are locked the F out. You cannot access your account. They're holding your funds. There's really no way of you knowing where to send a plan of appeal or a plan of action unless you know already what email addresses to send this to. And more than likely, the more that you've sent in, the more they will begin to ignore it, and the less and less frequently they will begin to reply to you. So Section 3 lockout, you cannot access the account, and you have to use other means in order to submit these plans of appeals. And again, it can be a huge pain in the freaking ass, because you will have to be prepared to send in dozens and dozens of appeals and wait almost up to 2 years to get your money back. And as I said before, it is borderline criminal, but this is what Amazon is doing, is specifically almost every drop shipping thing is what started this whole Section 3 thing. Everything that was drop shipping was classified as Section 3. And as time goes on, it seems that this becomes a bigger basket of a suspension basket for other violations that they just have no idea where to stick. So if anything doesn't classify as less than to the left of this imaginary line, they're just going to call it a Section 3, and they're just going to use it as an excuse to hold your freaking money, which, as I said before, again, it's borderline criminal. Walmart will return your money in 180 days. And this is why I've always been a huge proponent of selling on Walmart, because they will eventually return your money. It's a given. Walmart pretty much stands for the values of America. It's like a great American company that we've all come to love because of their low prices and the fact that if you're a seller on there, even though they'll straight up terminate your ass and throw you off the platform, they at least send you out with a paycheck. Well, Amazon, on the other hand, will not. They will keep your money, and they will do anything that they possibly can to hang on to that money. So again, as I said, be prepared to fight this battle for multiple months and be able to write multiple appeals that you know in the past have been approved and help you get your money back as well as your account. So if you don't have that capability, which most people will not, they'll give up and then they'll say, forget about the money. Then you want to hire a company that will do it for you over and over and over again until you do get your money back. That's why I have my email below if you want to talk and discuss how we can do that for you. And that is the reason why this isn't a cheap service. You have to have somebody ready to file multiple appeals on your behalf over and over and over again. So again, questions and comments, I always personally answer those below, and my email is below in case you do want to talk on how to get this done for you. But other than that, I'll see you guys next time.